going to be walking through how to pull a report. I'm going to be using an example from the college coaches. We're going to be focusing on this guy down here. They want to see for the different major categories for an alum, what does the alum engagement look like? So that is what I'm going to be working with today. The first thing that you want to do when you're going to pull a report is hit the button up here. It should be in your home page, and then hit the button that says New Report. Next, you're going to be prompted about where you want to pull the data from in Salesforce, because all of the different tabs up here in the home page, you can pull reports from all of that. So we want to narrow it down. We're going to be looking at the contacts. That's where our alum information lives, the contacts and accounts. And usually when you're going to start a report, there are a few things that you want to do across the board for anything. And that's, I usually like to clear all of these columns because we don't end up using like a lot of these, like the mailing street, mailing city. So I think it's just easier to remove all of those and have a clean slate. And then head over to the button that says filters. And we don't just want my contacts, we want everything that lives in Salesforce so that we're seeing a comprehensive list. Click apply. And same thing for the created date. We don't want to see the stuff that's on or after July 31st. We want to see everything in the database. Hit apply. And then another good rule of thumb is to always add the student ID. I think this is especially relevant if you're planning on exporting the list, and it's just really helpful if you want to pull in, let's say, another field into this spreadsheet. It's just easier to keep track of your data and to pull everything in a little bit more easily. So those are a few of the things that you just want to start off with no matter what kind of report you're creating, and now we're going to get into these specifics. When I'm creating a report, I like to keep open a contact so that I can see which field is the one that I'm trying to pull in. And for this specific report, we're looking at college alum engagement and the major category, this guy right here. So I just like to see what the name is so that I can easily pull that into the report. You can either start off with filling out your columns or your filters. It doesn't really matter, but I'm going to start with adding my filters. And since for this example, we're not looking at any specific college coach, we just want to see for all of our alums in the caseload, what does this data look like? The only filter that I'm going to add is, what was the name of it? Current college caseload equals true, so that we get only the students that are in the current caseload, and click apply. If you want to see a preview of the data, you can refresh as you go. So now I'm going to add a few columns of the data that we want to see. My guess is the coaches want to take a look at who the person is, so let's add preferred first name, preferred last name. I like to add these as well. This is their legal name. And then we also want to add college alum engagement, major category, that's the fields that we were looking at, and hit refresh. And that should give you a little bit more data. And then I'm going to add another field for major, just in case they want to see what the specific major is. Okay, so if you were going to export a report and use it in Sheets, you can go ahead and stop here. So what you would do is you could hit save and run, and I'm going to call it major category and alum engagement. and it should automatically save in your private reports unless you want to share it out with somebody else, and then you would go into here. Click save. Okay, so that should just give you a full list of all of the alums in the caseload and that data, and then you can click this button up here, export the report. You can do a formatted report and then hit this button and it'll download a spreadsheet that you can copy into Google Sheets. Now I'm going to keep working on the report as if I was going to create a dashboard or if I wanted to visualize the data. So I'm going to go back and hit edit. And now we're going to start grouping the data, and if you'll remember, we wanted to first see what are the different categories, what are the different major categories for our alums, and if you hit refresh, the grouping of the rows is going to help you start sorting through all of the data. So now it's all of our students are grouped by their major category, and a reminder that this is only going to give you a preview. If you want to see the full list, then you would have to hit run, but just to show you that's what that looks like. And then we also want to group by alum engagement. And it matters what order you put these in because, we want it to primarily sort by the major category and then show us the alum engagement. So now we can see for any major category for business, we can see how many of our alums are low touch consistent, how many are consistently in contact. And if we run that, we can get a better idea of what that looks like. Now we have these that aren't filled out for the major category, and to solve for that, I would either filter to get rid of that, and I can show you what that looks like in a second, or I'll just click descending, that little arrow will change it so that we get it in descending order. So now for our STEM students, we can see 43 of our STEM students are high touch. So keep scrolling. 1 is low touch, 21 low touch consistent, and the list goes on. So that is another layer of reporting. You can definitely start to group things, and this is the foundation for creating a graph or a dashboard. And now there are two different ways that you can see this data. And I'm going to show you how to do it in just the report. If you're looking for if you're looking for an answer to a question that you have about our alums, you can just add it directly in here, versus if you want to create a dashboard, you can start seeing different data side by side. But let's say for the purposes of this tutorial, we just want to see a graph for this data. So you're going to hit this button up here that says Add Chart. And you can customize it by hitting Chart Properties. And what we're looking for in this case is a stacked bar graph. And this right now is showing you the different major categories, and these different colored bars are the alum engagement. So it's the same data that's down here, now it's just visualized. We see our business students, that's the number or the percentage that are high touch, low touch consistent, and etc. And that's how you pull a report and visualize and create a graph from that data.